All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most critical chapters in all of George R. Martin's A Game of Thrones. We're heading north, up the King's Road, to unpack Chapter 11, a true masterclass in character, all centered on the one and only Tyrion Lannister. Now, you've probably heard this line before, right? It's maybe one of the most famous quotes from the entire series. And for a very good reason. This isn't just a clever one-liner. This is the absolute key to unlocking who Tyrion Lannister is. It's his mission statement, his survival guide in a world that can't stand him. So let's set the scene. The whole royal procession is leaving Winterfell and heading south, back to the power and the warmth of King's Landing. But Tyrion, he does something strange. He decides to go the other way, north, into the cold with Bran Stark and Jon Snow, on their way to the Wall. And what's so great is that the North almost immediately puts Tyrion in his place. See, he's a man who lives by maps, by books. He believes he can understand everything through his intellect. But out here, he gets a brutal reality check. A map is just paper. It can't prepare you for the sheer scale, the biting cold, the unforgiving reality of the land itself. Yeah, this trip north isn't some grand adventure. It's a grind. It's cold, it's miserable, and the world just keeps getting smaller and more isolated. And the little group of travelers he's with, well, it's a real mixed bag, to say the least. You can literally feel civilization just peeling away as they travel. At first, there are farms, there are inns, but then that gives way to the deep, dark, ancient wolf's wood. And finally, even the last outpost vanishes. They are completely and utterly alone, swallowed up by this endless, cold wilderness. And check out this road trip crew. You've got your high society types, a Lannister lord, a Stark ranger, and a noble bastard. But then you have Yoren, this grizzled, grim recruiter who's the walking, talking embodiment of what the Night's Watch really is. And with him, two convicted rapists he's dragging to the Wall. You can almost physically feel Jon Snow's heroic fantasy starting to crumble right here. And this brings us to the absolute heart of the chapter. One night, Tyrion's off by himself, doing his thing, reading of course, and Jon Snow approaches him. What follows is this campfire conversation that becomes a defining moment for both of their lives. It all kicks off with such a simple, almost innocent question. Jon's just curious. He sees this guy with his nose in a book all the time and just asks. But that one simple question is the key that unlocks the door to a part of Tyrion no one's really seen before. A moment of shocking, brutal honesty. And Tyrion's answer is just stunning. He doesn't say, "Oh, I like to learn." No. He explains that for him, reading is survival. He lays his own physical condition bare with this incredible self-awareness and says, "Look, my mind isn't a hobby. It is the only weapon I've got in a world that prizes strength and in a family that hates me for my weakness." But he is not done. Oh, no. He sees Jon's starry-eyed belief that the Watch is some noble calling, and he decides to just shatter it. He calls it a midden heap, a garbage dump for every misfit in the kingdom. He spells out the cold, hard truth. This is not a place for heroes. This is where they send criminals, debtors, and yes, outcasts like you. Jon is furious. He's hurt. He takes a step towards Tyrion, and in that split second, with no sound at all, Ghost moves. One moment, Tyrion is standing there talking smack. The next, he is flat on his back with a giant white direwolf standing over him, silent. It's an absolutely chilling, instantaneous defense of his master. So this begs the question, right? Why would Tyrion, a cynical Lannister, even bother to give Jon this harsh lesson? Why does he care? Well, the answer isn't about how different they are. It's about the one profound thing they share. They're both outsiders. I mean, just look at them. They are two sides of the exact same coin. Tyrion is looked down on as a dwarf in a family that worships physical perfection. Jon is shamed as a bastard in a family obsessed with honor. One fights with his mind, the other with a sword, but deep down, they're the same. They don't fit in, even in their own homes. And Tyrion sees that in Jon instantly. And then we get this amazing glimpse into Tyrion's own fantasy life, his obsession with dragons. He tells Jon he used to sneak down into the Red Keep cellars just to look at the 19 enormous Targaryen dragon skulls. To him, these weren't just old bones. They were symbols of a power so immense it could just burn the rules of the world to the ground. And this quote, this says it all. A dragon is the ultimate equalizer. It's a fantasy of, quite literally, rising above everyone's judgment, a way to escape the physical form that has brought him nothing but a lifetime of scorn. So, why is this one little conversation on a cold road so important in the grand scheme of things? Because it's all about the painful but necessary power of being forced to face a hard truth. This talk completely flips a switch in Jon's head. He comes onto this road thinking the Night's Watch is where heroes are made. He leaves it with Tyrion's words echoing in his ears. Most people will lie to themselves before they face an ugly truth. This right here, this is the moment Jon Snow starts to grow up. And this is the final lesson, the advice that will shape both of them forever. Tyrion tells Jon to own it. Own being a bastard. Never, ever forget what you are, because no one else will. If you can accept it, if you can wear it like armor, then it can never, ever be used to hurt you. Ultimately, this chapter isn't just about Jon and Tyrion. It's about all of us. Tyrion rips away Jon's illusions and forces him to see the world as it is. And that leaves us with one final thought. When your own cozy illusions are stripped away, when you're forced to face reality, what weapon do you choose to fight back with?